Hey guys, it's Drea. So today I have done a full face of my cheapest makeup. So I've gone through every single drawer in my collection, every little category of makeup, and pulled out the cheapest thing that I personally have in my collection. So obviously this isn't like the cheapest primer you can find, it's just my cheapest primer. And I just thought it'd be a fun way to kind of go through affordable products, give you my reviews. I love some of these things. Some of these things I really don't like at all, but they just still happen to be in my collection. And actually a couple of them were first impressions because I had never used them before. I did not want to include any dollar store makeup because I think I probably have dollar store makeup in every category, and then it just would have ended up being a full face of dollar store makeup, and I didn't want that to be this video. I've been trying to do a few more affordable type of videos on my channel lately. Like I just did a full face for under $60. If you missed that, I will link it. I just wanted to bring you guys more affordable stuff because you know I love all types of makeup, but I think I tend to play more in the high-end arena most of the time. Let's just jump right into it. This is actually brand new. If you've been with me for a while, you know I've always had the complaint of drugstore primers. Like, I just haven't found any that I like. And so I went out and bought this the other day. This is the e.l.f. Mineral Infused Face Primer. Obviously, I have not yet worn this throughout the day, so I can't really comment on does it keep your makeup on a long time. All I can really say is that I was disappointed in the fact that it just seems to be like a very silicone-based typical clear primer. It doesn't feel any different. It doesn't fill in pores more so than any other silicone based primer that I've ever used. So I was a little bit disappointed when I gave it a squeeze and I saw that come out. And even though it's e.l.f., I don't know why I expected it to be very similar to the Hourglass mineral foundation, not mineral foundation, mineral primer. Probably just because it has the word mineral in the name. But yeah, I was like expecting the Hourglass type consistency to come out, but it wasn't. For now, I'm just like, it doesn't really seem to be any different or better than anything I've ever tried. Another product from e.l.f. that I do absolutely love and I've used so many times is this. This is the e.l.f. Flawless Finish Foundation, and I did, when I first got this, I did a full all-day wear test on it on my oily skin, and I love this. I think you can see, like, I have used quite a bit out of this bottle. It's very affordable. It feels so nice on the skin. Like, it's not cakey, it's not thick, and like it doesn't feel like it's clogging your pores. It just feels so nice on the skin. Feels hydrating even though it does give you a matte finish, and it keeps you, if you're oily skin, matte throughout the day. So when I wear this, I always blot and repowder throughout the day, but with this one, I probably only have to do it once as opposed to other foundations where I have to do it 2 or 3 times. And I love the finish of this one because it does even out your skin tone, but your skin still looks like skin. Like, this is more of a medium coverage. It's not really a full coverage at all. Definitely a medium coverage when it first goes on, and your skin just looks like it's still your real skin. So one of my favorite foundations, low end, high end, still one of my favorites across the board. This is another thing that I would definitely call like a holy grail favorite. This is the Hard Candy Cushion Wonder Sheer Envy Color Correct. There is no shade name on this one anywhere, but it comes in a few different shades. There's 2 different kind of apricot shades. This is the lighter and there's a darker one. There's lots of people that have genetic hereditary dark circles. It's not a lack of sleep thing. It's like you deal with this all your life. You've always had dark circles around your eyes. That's definitely me. I know friends of mine that have much different complexions have the same thing. So I like that they've given us a lighter version and a much deeper version for deeper skin tones. So that is awesome. This goes on kind of sheer, and it's very natural when you blend it out. It's hydrating. It's not drying at all. It's not like a full coverage thing because it doesn't really need to be. Color correction doesn't really need to be full coverage because you're going to put a concealer on top of it anyway. But I just love how this perfectly cancels out dark circles. Now, this next thing is from ColourPop. This is the ColourPop No Filter Concealer. I have the shade Light 20. I still don't know how I feel about this. I've used this now probably a good 5 or 6 times, and it's kind of one of those meh products for me. It's like, it's okay. I don't have anything to really complain about, but I don't have anything to sing the praises about with it. Do you know what I mean? So I do like the applicator. I love concealers that have that flat applicator and it's very flexible. That's one of my favorite things with a concealer, so that's awesome. The coverage is not like full coverage, it's not like Shape Tape, but it's pretty high coverage. I think you can still kind of see dark circles on me right now. They're not like very pronounced, but they're definitely a little bit noticeable. It's kind of on the thick side a little bit, and I do find it to be a little bit drying under my under eyes. It's not like super cakey or anything, but it's definitely not hydrating in the least. So I'm still kind of on the fence about this. I would say it's definitely not a favorite, but I don't want to say it's an awful product. It's just not like amazing. So this has been one of my favorite under eye setting powders for a very long time. I've talked about this on my channel so much. This is the Coty Airspun Loose Face Powder. You can get a translucent version, but mine actually has a shade. Mine is the shade Naturally Neutral, which I would say gives a little bit of coverage, not a ton, just a little bit. And I do bake with this under my eyes, and I always feel like my concealer is good all day long when I use this. It just sets it all day long. It's absolutely perfect. And again, not like super cakey. This doesn't cake up or anything like that, even though it is kind of a thicker consistency. And I have had this now for almost 2 years and it still looks like it's untouched. There is so much product in here and you don't need a ton, so that is going to last you a lifetime. So for eyeshadow primer, I only have a couple drugstore options, but this is actually a really good one. You can see this is kind of rubbed off a little bit. So this is from Essence. It's called the I Love Color Intensifying Eyeshadow Base. Now it's supposed to intensify the color of your eyeshadow. I don't think it does that, but it does make your eyeshadow last all day without creasing. It gives you a great base to work with. So you're gonna see a bunch of Essence products in this video, but that's definitely a favorite. So for contouring, I decided today to use a cream contour, which I think was the cheapest thing in my contour collection anyway. So this is the Wet n Wild Mega Cushion Contour. So it is a cushion product. You open it up, it's got this little thingamajigger, and then it's got a little cushion in there with the product on it. So I always use a brush when I use this, and why I like cream contour is because I'm gonna put it on over top my foundation and underneath a powder, and I always find that that sets it really well, and it always makes it look so natural, like it is actually your own bone structure that's casting that shadow as opposed to just painting on a contour powder, if that makes sense. So that's why I've come to kind of really appreciate cream contouring, and this one I would say definitely does that. It's a neutral shade. It's not too cool and it's not too warm. So it's not like that cool tone contour. It's definitely a neutral shade. So some people might like that, some people may not. This only comes in one shade, which is called Cafe Au Soleil. So it's not gonna work for everybody, but I personally like it. This next thing is my pressed face powder category, and this is from the NYC, New York Color brand. This is their Smooth Skin Pressed Face Powder. Mine is in the shade Warm Beige. And I actually really like this. Now the thing about NYC is they stopped being sold all across North America. Now they are only sold in select states, select provinces, I don't know. They're sold online. This is a really good mattifying powder. So if you're oily, it's really nice. I really like the feel of it. It's very soft. It just feels really nice. And it's just a good basic product. Okay, for brows, I have one thing I love and one thing I don't love. So the thing I don't love is the ColourPop brow pencil. This is in the shade Dope Taupe. Now, I don't know if you can tell, but on me, this is like a very warm color. It's very warm brown, and I feel like when I hear the words Dope Taupe, taupe isn't really the shade this is. I would describe this as like a warm brown. So when I ordered it expecting it to be like a taupe shade and this showed up, I was kind of disappointed. I will say I think it works a little bit better with my hair lighter than when it used to be when it was a lot darker. So it works okay on me. I think I could probably get away with using this up, but it's not my favorite. The spoolie part is fine, no problem there. And I just feel like the product is a little too soft. So where the Anastasia Brow Wiz is like a very hard product and it's a little bit waxy, it allows you to kind of control it a little bit better and give you that shape of brow hair wherever you decide to put it. This I feel like just kind of blends itself all together because it's a little bit softer, and therefore it just kind of looks a little bit more like drawn on eyebrows as opposed to your own brow hairs. And then for brow gel, I'm using the Essence Make Me Brow. I've talked about this a million times over on my channel. So it's kind of like Benefit Gimme Brow. It's got the little tiny brush that just brushes on the tinted gel, and it has some fibers in it. So it's going to keep your brows in place all day, and it gives you fibers for some volume. And also I find that it kind of highlights your brows a little bit, gives them dimension. So for eyeshadow, I could have done singles, but I decided, what is my cheapest eyeshadow palette? And I have a couple kind of drugstore options, but this one is the cheapest. I don't know if it's still available anymore, but this is from NYC again, and these are the Levatics by Demi palettes. Now, I know for sure, and I have seen the neutral one still in my Walmart, so I know you can still get that one, but they had originally 4, and these are, I think, limited edition ones. This is the Showtime palette here. And then this one here, which I use mostly today, is called Night Out, and you can tell it's like kind of rose shades and green shades, and I actually really like it. When these first came out, I did review them. I did full swatches on them. They are powdery. They have a ton of fallout, but they have enough pigmentation where they show up, they blend, they look really pretty on the eyes. Like, I really like kind of the romantic purple look I have going on, kind of smoked out lash line look today. I think it works out really well. The one thing I do not like, especially with this palette in particular, is the mattes in here are like the darkest shades. So you're not going to slap that in your crease. So I did have to use like the 2 purple shimmer shades in my crease, which, you know, isn't my favorite thing to do. I don't think it looks terrible, but it doesn't blend probably as well as a matte shade would in the crease. And then I put this kind of pinky shade all over the lid, and then I did some of this green under my lash line just for a little pop of green. Okay, for eyeliner, I picked this out of my collection. This is the Essence Gel Eye Pencil. It says waterproof on it. I'm gonna have a little issue with that here in a second. So this is just your typical wind up kind of eyeliner thing. And I did use this on my lash line. I took a brush, smudged it out, and then I put some of the black eyeshadow from that palette on top of it to smoke it out a little bit more. And then I also kind of tightlined with it. Now, I don't know if you can tell, but I can definitely tell, it's transferring down to my waterline from where I tightlined on this side and on this side in the inner corner. I hate when eyeliners do that. That is a huge pet peeve of mine, especially if they say waterproof, because if it says waterproof, it shouldn't transfer ever. Now, this has been in my collection for a little over a year, and I think when I used it today, I realized it's time to let this go and replace it, because this used to be creamy as anything and it would blend out so easily, but using it on my upper waterline, no, my upper lash line today and blending it with a brush, it was causing like some problems, and I do not like tugging on my eyes at all, and I had to do that a little bit to kind of get it taut enough to go on. It wasn't just going on easily. So I think probably, I mean, it does technically expire after a year. I know lots of us keep our makeup past that point, but it's time to let this go. So this is not like your most long-lasting thing in your collection, but when it was new, it was a lot better. So another NYC product, this is the Sunny Bronzer. This used to be everywhere, all over YouTube a few years ago, for good reason, I think. It's just like your absolute perfect bronzer. It's matte, it's a neutral bronzer, it's not too warm and orange, you know what I mean? It has no shimmer in it. It blends so easily. Like, this really does blend really easily, and I really like the way it looks. This here, this blush, I had never used this before. This is the Wet n Wild Color Icon blush, and this is in the shade Pearlescent Pink. And I would say this is kind of more of a peach than a pink. Like, it's definitely a peachy shade, I would say. It seems to be a matte. Well, actually, there is some shimmer in it. I don't know. When it blends out, it seems to be a matte blush, but it does have a little bit of sparkle here and there. It was super pigmented. My brush picked up a lot of product, and I even tapped it off a good amount and then applied it, and it was still a lot of product. So it's very pigmented. And when it comes to blushes, that's not necessarily a good thing in my opinion, because you can end up really overdoing things very quickly by accident. For highlighter, this one is the cheapest in my collection. This is the e.l.f. Baked Highlighter. Well, it's called Baked Highlighter and Blush, so it's supposed to be both in one, but I kind of always mix them together. And this is in the shade Rose Gold. I don't know that I would say this is actually a rose gold shade. It's kind of more, when you mix them together, just more of kind of a pinky highlight, I think. I do like it. I think it looks pretty I don't know about natural, but it doesn't look overdone. Like it's not a totally beaming highlighter. It's just a little bit more subdued. I don't think there's anything incredibly special about it. It's not like it's super buttery or anything. I mean, it's a baked product. It goes on okay. Some people have had issues with those baked products where you have to scrape off the top layer. I never had that issue because you know, you can see it shows up really well. But it's definitely not my favorite, probably because it's just not like super amazingly beaming. For lips, I did this combo. This is the Essence lip liner. Now, their lip liners are awesome, especially these ones, I think, in the silver caps. They tend to be my favorite. They are so ultra creamy. This one is in the shade. This one is in the shade In the Nude, which, you know, just your perfect nude shade. This would actually be so nice, just all over the lips. These are like $1.99. It's so creamy. It works so well. I really love those lip liners. I've loved them for a long time. And then I'm sure I have like much cheaper bullet lipsticks, but I decided I wanted to do a liquid lipstick today. So in my liquid lipstick category, the cheapest I think are definitely the Wet n Wild liquid catsuits. And I have talked about these so many times, how much I love them. So this one is the Nudist Peach shade. I love it because I have Rebel Rose, which is just a nice kind of pinky brown neutral, but I love the peach one in that I feel like it just kind of gives me a little bit more life to my face. It's just a little bit brighter, but it's still kind of a nude shade, you know what I mean? And these ones have a great, like they have great packaging. It's acrylic, and then you got the little kind of, I don't know, it's kind of like a ballerina slipper kind of applicator, and it just goes on so well. They last all day. Another Wet n Wild product. This is the Wet n Wild Photo Focus Setting Spray. This is getting pretty empty. I have almost used it up. It definitely is not the most fine mist on the planet. Like, I don't know if you could tell. I don't know. The sprayer is kind of harsh, and I do find when I use this, like big droplets land on my face, even if I'm doing it from a far distance. So not my favorite in that sense. I do think it assists maybe in the longevity of your makeup, but I don't think it's like Urban Decay All Night or anything like that. Like, it's not the best setting spray I've ever used. It's just kind of average. And let's end on a high note. I always do my mascara after I do my setting spray because I don't want my mascara to run. This is the cheapest one I own, and it's also one of my favorites. So this is the Essence Volume Stylist Lash Extension Mascara. It comes in the purple tube. I really like the packaging. I'll do a close-up of what the wand looks like. What I do with this is I definitely wipe off the wand, like especially right there in the middle. It collects a lot of product, and when this brush is overloaded, your lashes can definitely get clumpy, especially on a second application. So usually I will only just go over my lashes one time, one good time, and we're good. If you go in a second time, they will start getting clumpy. The reason I love this is the mascara I reach for on the days when I'm not gonna wear false lashes, because I want a lot of length, you know what I mean? And it does give you a lot of volume, but this is the most lengthening mascara I've ever used, and I love that. So it's got fibers in it, and I think that's why the fibers definitely give you that extra length, but I feel like with a look like this, I can get away with not wearing false lashes, and I know, guys, like I'm weird like that. I am addicted to false lashes, where I feel like I need them all the time, or I look weird. So everybody, you know, you can make your own decisions on whether you want to wear false lashes or not. And if you are the kind of person who doesn't need them, doesn't care, keep doing that. Trust me, it's way better to not get addicted to them. But this is so good for length, so there you go. So that is it. That is my full face with the cheapest makeup I own. I'll admit, going into this, pulling all these products, I did not know what I was going to end up looking like, and I actually really, really like the way it ended up. I think my favorite thing is just my base. Like, my foundation looks so good. My skin looks really just natural and pretty. I love the e.l.f. foundation. It is just so holy grail to me, and using it today just reminded me, like, I really want to continue using that, so I need to pull it into my everyday makeup drawer. The eyeshadow I think is pretty. I really like the way it worked out. It's not like gonna be my go-to eyeshadow, but it looks super pretty, and I just like the way everything kind of looks kind of soft and natural and pretty today. I hope that I've given you some good suggestions on things that are good and maybe some things to avoid, but as always, if you have any questions at all, leave them down in the comments. I will definitely get back to you. If you're new around here, please subscribe. I'd love to have you around in the future for my future videos, which I put up 3 times a week, every Sunday, Tuesday, and Thursday every week. So we got 3 new videos every week. My coffee is starting to kick in, by the way. Yes, I'm drinking iced coffee in the middle of November. That is it for today. I hope you're having a wonderful day. Please be kind to yourself. Speak to yourself in a nice way. Don't be mean to yourself. I love you guys, and I'll see you in my next video.